All right, let's go to Rose in Springfield. What's up, Rose?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Incredible. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. What's up? What are you doing?
Just waiting around for you to pick up my phone call. That's what.
All right. Well, I got you. What's happening? Let's do this.
Okay. So I guess I'm looking for guidance on how to navigate a situation with my fiance. I've come to realize over the course of our relationship that I think he's on the spectrum, and I don't know how to tell him, because I know if I tell him, it's going to be an insult to him. He's been insulted his whole life. He had like a really hard childhood. Every mean thing any adult figure could have ever said to him, they said it. Verbally, physically abused. I understand to like bring that up shouldn't be an insult to someone, but it might be to him, just considering he's been degraded so much through his whole life, and I'm just sensitive to that. And then the other thing is that now that I've become aware, or I've come to believe that he's on the spectrum, so many of our arguments kind of make more sense in hindsight. And I'm trying to learn how to like support him, or like air quotes argue or communicate properly, and I don't know where to start, and I don't know where to get him resources, and I don't know where to get resources for myself, and so then that's why I'm calling you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Okay. So 2 things. Well, let me ask your permission. Can I be super honest and straight and direct with you? Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I guess one day, Rose, someone's going to tell me, no, I'd prefer you just tell me exactly what I would like to hear. And but nobody's done that yet. So, okay. First thing here, I would, with all of my heart, all of my guts, all of my strength in mind, would tell you, don't be in the business of pseudo-diagnosing people that you love and care about. Okay?
Right.
I would, whatever I imagine you are reaching for somebody you love, how can I love you better? And so it's not like I'm not trying to beat you up over it. What I'm telling you is, as the great Brene Brown says, what we go looking for in the world, we are sure to find. And when we put diagnostics glasses on and we begin looking through the world, we will see them everywhere. I could give you a series of behaviors that would suggest he has depressive disorder. And if you put those glasses on, you would see it everywhere. And I could give you another series of behaviors and responses and reactivities with anxiety disorder, and you would see it everywhere. So I always want to be careful about putting those glasses on, okay? The second thing I want you to really be careful of as you're heading into this marriage, and we'll get to the autism conversation here, but it all works, it's all synergistic here. You cannot build a marriage on trying to hedge truth in conversations. The goal can't be, how do I do a thing? How do I respond a thing to a thing I think my husband has, but I don't want to tell him he's got it. I just want to start doing these things. Because that's always going to fall down at some point. So the goal is, how do we come to an understanding together that the way we are communicating with one another, the way we are experiencing each other is not working? And one of the things might be because my husband has perception challenges or feels exceptionally, it feels powerfully about things, right? Or it lacks a little bit of empathy, or is so over empathetic it shuts his body down, right? So you see the difference there?
Well, yeah, I do know that, we need to be honest, but at the same time, like, I know that we're not supposed to, like you said, pseudo-diagnose, and that's where I'm just kind of lost, and I don't know what to do.
So if I'm in your seat, if I'm in your exact seat, the conversation I would have, verbatim, would be, I love you so much, and I want some tools so that I can do a better job of communicating with you. I'm not doing a good job of telling you my needs in a way that you can hear them and understand them. and I'm not doing a good job of hearing and responding to your needs. Would you be willing to go see a premarital counselor with me? And in this situation, not some buddy who's like done a bunch of weddings and they make you go through 3 things in a workbook, but I'm talking about a true marriage counselor who also, by the way, has the licensure, the ability, and the experience to do diagnostics. And once you lay out a series of here's where some of our communication challenges are happening, every bell in that therapist office should go off if it's a true autistic diagnostic.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that sounds like a good path forward, and I know he'll like that idea.
And he probably feels it deeply, right?
Oh yeah, because we've talked about like our miscommunications. Like we know there's a disconnect. He knows that there's a disconnect. At times we are getting better at communicating and realizing, the differences. But he is a Christian, and I do believe that he would love to do premarital counseling.
And I've got tons of friends who are pastors. I want to steer you away from just doing traditional pastoral.
I want to see someone who can diagnose.
There you go. That's right. And so, and here's where. So on one hand, I was just telling you, I don't like diagnostics, like just as a blanket, but there's some great utility. They serve a good purpose, and here's a great place. Right now, I can imagine when the lights are low, your fiance thinks he's doing something wrong. He's screwing something up.
He thinks that all the time.
And it's
all the time.
Right?
He thinks he's one giant big screw up, like all the time.
Yes. And he's got trauma in his background. He's got abuse and all this stuff going on in his past. And a diagnosis would be able to say, hey, your brain and body simply interacts with the world in a different way. And so, since it does, great. You are not Akeem Olajuwon. You are not 7 feet tall with a great fadeaway. You are Steph Curry. You are, 5'8". You're going to have to be successful in basketball. You're just going to have to do different things. You're going to have to learn to shoot the ball from really far away. Cool. You're not taking you off the field. We're just going to tell you, hey, you're not ever going to be a good post player because you're 5'10" or however tall Steph Curry is. It's a very similar situation here. I remember some piece when I was told, hey, if we were going to do diagnostics, here's what you would have. And I'd be like, okay. It gives me a place to start from. It's not excuse. It's just a context, right? So I think it could be helpful, or for you, it could be helpful to find out, no, he's not autistic. He's not. But do you love him? Yes. Cool. Then we're going to figure out how to communicate together. And I have no qualms at all about marrying somebody on the spectrum. None. Zero.
Yeah, I initially couldn't tell. I did have a friend who told me like right off the bat, but I didn't believe her. I was like, no, he doesn't. But I guess she had more experience in that world than I do, so she saw it faster. And it took me longer to like clue in. I used to work with actually severely autistic children in preschool, but he's very high functioning. He actually has a doctorate in chemistry.
Sure.
So it just took me longer to figure it out in him.
And if he is truly autistic, it may have been a superpower in his chosen profession. And similarly, boxers who are just innate, they're born with great hand speed. It is incredible for their job, but they have to learn a different way to interact at home. And that's what we're talking about here. Even if some of it's going through the motions, right? Maybe he will never be able to walk home and feel how your day went. But he can learn the 6 questions that he's going to ask when he walks in the front door, all 6 of them pertaining to you. And how are you? And you're going to learn, maybe it's not that he's not empathetic. Maybe your feelings are so intense, they burn his skin. Like it just burns a hole through him like fire. And that's why he just stares straight ahead. And so you might have to learn how to regulate. See what I'm saying? It's just going to be a dance that y'all are going to have to learn. But dancing is so fun if you have the right spirit about it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Cool. So I would hold off on saying the man that I love is this fill in the blank diagnosis. I would be all about, hey, let's learn some new skills. Let's go see a professional. Let's go sit down and figure this stuff out together. The focus y'all are going to have is communication, telling the truth, learning how to see, and depending on where he falls on the spectrum with intuition, and then learning about like some things aren't about routines. And some things aren't, you can't logic your way through grief. You can't logic your way through pain and hurt and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you have to sit in and you have to feel. And so it's just going to be people learning new skills. People learning new skills. I've got no doubt y'all can make this happen. Let the professional do the diagnosing. Let the professional put that on the table. You just show up and say, I want to be the best supporter and best friend and best wife I can be. And hope your husband shows up too. Thank you so much for the call. We'll be right back.
Hey, John.
Yes?
Before we go to break,
Yes?
I'd like to point out Steph Curry is 6'2".
He's how tall?
6'2". It's not like he's,
I thought he was like 5'6".
He's 6'2". So
That's how tall I am.
Yeah.
Good grief.
So,
well, there I go on that one.
Yeah.
Just when you see him with his teammates.
Well, when he's sitting next to someone that's 7 foot tall, but he's 6'2". He's not short by any stretch of the imagination.
Steph Curry is a huge fan of the show. Steph, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I made you feel small. You're 6'2". We're the same height. I challenge you to a basketball game anytime you're up for it. Bring it.